Yo. Blah, blah, blah. Right, I think I need to set up the lighting here because it's a bit shitty. I'm using my front face camera and the quality is pretty awful. I think from looking at myself I'm quite blurry. And someone's gone. So yeah, hello. I can't see who's here, but I'm not sure at what point you kind of like introduce yourself. And yeah, it's cool. So I guess this is my first live stream on YouTube. I haven't really been active lately. I think my last video might have been posted close to like this time last year. I think in the past 2 years I've maybe uploaded like, I don't know, 4 or 5 videos. I'm just really lazy nowadays. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, I done like a 700 special spray thing where, sorry, a 700 special video for subscribing. God, I'm fucking talking shit now. Yeah, I sprayed myself 700 times. Since then I've uploaded very few videos and surprisingly the channel's grown, which I find is quite weird because I'm not active. So nowadays I'm still interested in fragrances. However, my interest in sort of searching and, you know, trying to find the next thing, I've just lost interest in that. I don't really go after shops and go out smelling there. Hi Neil, how you doing, mate? Nice to see you here. And yeah, I'm just not going out there and trying new things. I've just kind of grown weary of the never-ending chase. I think at the start of 2019 or perhaps 2018, I did a sort of a mocking video where I kind of done the top fragrances I want to purchase this year. Like a lot of people are doing that at the start of the year. And I basically said, I don't want to buy any fragrances. I'm fed up of doing it. But that was a total lie because after saying that and making that video, I still went out and actually bought loads of fragrances. So I've just stopped now and I'm just taking it easy. And somebody's messaging me. Yeah, so I don't know. I've also then taken an interest in oud oils. So from kind of going into fragrances just for sprays, I went into vintage stuff, and then for a while I went into ouds and attars. And I went on a route of just going crazy with these. I said that, you know, I wasn't going to buy much, but I went just absolutely mental. I've bought things like a lot of, so I have oud woods here, like different chips. But this is one of many. I mean, I can literally do, I've just got like handfuls of oud. It's crazy. The stuff, I'll be honest, the stuff to burn is amazing. Actually, 1 second. I have an oud burner here. I'm not sure if you can make that out. So this is an electric heater, and there's a bit of it's connected to a power supply, which is basically transfusing electric through these coils, and it's producing this wire which gets heated, and this heats the wood, releases the aroma of the wood, and it kind of bubbles the resin and the oil inside. It works fantastically as a incense. I often come home from work and my house just smells fantastic because of the leftover aroma. It's great. And there's so many like different varieties of oud out there. So the trees primarily grow in kind of in the Far East, in terms of countries like India, Bangladesh, China, Lower China, Hong Kong, Malaysia, and such places. And each of these different places has like different profiles and different aromas associated with the wood. It's like, yeah, it's really cool. And the same goes for the oils. So these oils, they can be quite costly, but there's like a myriad of different combinations and different kind of profiles you can get from them. For example, Thai oils, they are generally kind of sweet and more honeyed with kind of fruits, whereas the Malaysian oud will kind of smell like a fizzy Coca-Cola with very kind of prominent deepness that kind of the Thai oils would lack. And there's so many contrasting and kind of different profiles out there. It's really interesting. So I kind of lost my interest in sprays and the next big thing just because I went really deep into this kind of this oud world. Is very deep, you know. You start off, you know, just trying like cheap oils, like things like Swiss Arabian and Arabian oud and such, and eventually you kind of end up, you know, this the profile's awesome. So I've kind of done this live stream randomly. I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about. I think there's a few things I'd like to cover, but I don't really have an order or or really an idea of the progression I'm gonna take through this. It's just yeah. So like I've been inactive on YouTube, so I just find the fragrance community nowadays, if you even want to call it that, they're just I don't know. There's just so many people like chasing that kind of the fame, the popularity, you know. People just go like, there's so many cinema thumbnails and how people are trying to portray themselves. Alex, the weather, I haven't actually looked, but I believe it may be a little bit mild, yeah? It's a common thing of discussion here in Wales. But yeah, the community, you know, I'm not trying to sort of bitch and rant about it, but I just kind of lost the interest in this never-ending chase of smelling stuff, people rushing to be the first people to review fragrances. I haven't done many reviews because I feel like a review really warrants a long time spent with that fragrance. People, you know, you kind of get a good feel for a fragrance after maybe 3 or 4 wearings, but I don't feel like that is enough to really solidify how it is in your mind and, you know, to take it through a year and to see how it reacts in different weathers and different scenarios like that. Hello, GMAC, thank you very much. I'm awfully thirsty, so I'll be drinking a lot of water. So at this moment, I've been doing reviews since 2016 and coming up to almost 4 years, which is mental. And there's so many fragrances that I've not reviewed, such as Kouros. And so yeah, like I've been wearing Kouros now for like 3 years. I'd love to review it. I just can't really sort of be asked. You know? Yes, releasing their own scents is. I have nothing against it. I mean, it makes sense. Think about it from like a business point of view. Yeah, if you have a platform where you have a voice or you have a reach to an audience, it does make sense to try and capitalize on that. But obviously, you know, it's just like another brand out there. You know, this ties back into what I'm trying to say, and like, there's just so much out there. It's you know, there's constantly new releases. You're constantly chasing those. There's things you haven't smelled. There's things going back 30 years, 40 years. Like I'm a big lover of vintage fragrances, so I'm spending time sort of discovering the relics of the past, if you will. And while doing that, there's a constant barrage of new things being released. So, you know, you can just never get on top, and you know, to smell all the things is crazy. For like critics like Luca Turin or Luca, however you say it, it must be mental because think how many things he smells. Like his reviews are, they can't be based on many wearings because he must sample so many things that you just can't give things the kind of the due diligence they needed in terms of time. So yeah, like I don't know, like it's just I have to find I struggle with words when it comes to fragrance reviewing. I've noticed this. I've gone to do videos and I'm just a bit like halfway through I've stopped and just scrapped it. I'm kind of at loss for words. It feels like it's difficult to actually. It is hard as a reviewer to actually show you and to visualize how a scent smells. I do prefer to try and put things into my perspective in terms of how it makes me feel, as opposed to trying to dissect notes or whatever. But yeah, it's an odd platform. Like you know, I've never really considered myself much of a reviewer. I've done it. I basically started to review when I first bought my load of fragrances. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know notes. I didn't know anything. I just kind of I winged it. It's how I get on in life. I don't really plan many things. I went with it, and from that I was researching endlessly. And you kind of, you know, you kind of learn, and it's constant. So, yeah, but I do have a lot of bottles I want to review because I've spent a lot of time with them, and I feel like I could describe them in my own attachment to them in that regards. I've also like at this point in time, I think I own 80 fragrances. I've been tracking it quite meticulously on base notes from Grantica, and according to that, I've owned like 160 fragrances, which are, you know, that's 160 separate to the ones I currently own. So I find that I went mental buying fragrances. You know, I've owned over like 250, which is fucking ridiculous. And at this point, I've basically slimmed down my collection to the things that I think I really do enjoy. I kind of use base notes quite often. Well, not often. I use it every day to track what I wear. And if I find that I'm not wearing something very often, I'm very inclined to sell it. Like, I've been meaning to do another collection update because I did this in 2017, maybe 2018. And yeah, my collection is totally different now. I half the stuff that was there, not many have kind of survived, and yeah. I tell you what, actually, what's that? Okay, this was totally unplanned, but I forgot that I was sent this by a friend. So I'm on a few Facebook groups, like UK-based ones, and people there are quite generous, you know. There's often a lot of sample trading, and people sell for quite cheap. Half my collection I've acquired through these groups because you get sort of ridiculous, you get like ridiculous sort of bargains on there. What happened to the mountain bikes? So yes, I've sold both my mountain bikes, unfortunately. I just wasn't using them. I took a bit of a tumble, and it just really kind of shocked my confidence. I found it really difficult to actually get out on a bike and sort of enjoy it. I was a bit sort of mentally hampered. So in the end, I just found I wasn't really using my mountain bike, so I sold them. I do have this road bike here, and this is actually up for sale right now because I've bought another one. So I'm waiting. Hopefully I'll be taking it tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, I don't ride. I mean, I'm quite fat now. If you've been kind of following my videos throughout the years, I'm a lot chubbier than I've ever been. I was always kind of a skinny bastard, but you know, just looking at myself, I can see I put a lot of weight on. So things like the road bike will help me to get back in shape, I think, because I'm terrible. Anyway, sorry. So, jeez. So what I was trying to say was a friend of mine in the fragrance group. He sent me this, which is Navitus, Stephen at Red Essences channel. I've had this now for like a month, and I literally haven't smelled them. I think I've picked them up and tried them from the caps. So like, it seems a nice time than any to kind of try some out, because why not? Hey, Tylertarian, nice to see you, bro. I do have some. Yes. Still have plenty of testers on hand. So I'm going to do like a live first impressions of some of these Navitus. I think it slides out. Eyelid. Right. So I've paid no attention. Like again, I don't even watch fragrance reviews nowadays. I've unsubscribed from so many people because my YouTube feed was constantly filled with people reviewing fragrances, and because I'd lost interest, I just didn't care to actually go and watch reviews. So I have no idea about kind of Navitus. All I know is the bottles are similar to rose jars, I believe, and there's a bit of controversy over that. But again, I'm ignorant to all the drama in the Facebook groups because I'm not part of any of the American ones, and on the British groups that I'm in, we tend to be a bit more close-knitted. There's not much focus on YouTube. So I'm going to pick one here, so Intimus. And just opening these from the box, just the smell is not very appealing. It's just this like melange of just meh. I'm not here to hate on these, you know. I'll try them with an open mind because why not? Oh god, I think that's leaked, which probably explains why there's so little in here. Yeah, so I have no idea about notes or what these are trying to be. Yep, this is definitely leaked, so my hands. Oh. Okay, so this is Intimus by Navitus Parfums. So yeah, I went through a bit of a period of basically not wearing sprays or any EDTs. I think for about 5 months, all I wore was ouds and like natural attars, and I become so like sensitive to fragrances. Like any synthetic sprays just really turn me off. But I'm not like that now. I find there's not much note separation in here. It kind of hits you as a cloud, which I don't particularly like. I kind of like for a scent to have like a discernibleness to it. It's actually really strong and there's a kind of cleanness. This is probably like a teenagey kind of scent. It's quite sweet, but I couldn't pick up on the genre. It's like I'd hate to say like Invictus because of the name, but it's in that kind of ballpark perhaps. Like I couldn't tell you what genre this would fall into, but I don't like that. Yeah, I think I will actually give these all a try. Okay, so here's Absoluto. And that's one thing you see when people like try stuff, they spray it on and within a minute they smell it. Not within a minute, within like a few seconds they smell in the strip. You have to leave that shit dry down, man. Waft it towards you. This one's a lot better. It's again, it has that same kind of like cloud, you know. I find I also hate doing these things because when it comes to like being on the spot, I'm fucking useless. Jesus. In terms of notes, I have no idea. There's not really a sweetness. There's a kind of like metallic sharpness, perhaps. Yeah. So steamy. Yeah, it's my front camera, man. It's awful. I always film with my camera basically turned away from myself and use my rear camera. And yeah, I'm sorry, man. The quality is fucking terrible. I wouldn't know how to describe that. It's not something I would wear. It's just there's nothing exciting going on, you know. That would be perfectly suited to a department store. Okay, that was totally out. I think a lot of these are somehow leaked or evaporated because I'm sure there was more in these. Okay, this one's called Virtus or Virtus. I'm trying to sort of stay away from it because I don't know. I'm currently wearing Gulan Vetiver and I don't really want them to interact. Oh, I kind of caught a mouthful of that then. Jeez. It's not bad. Oh, this one's really nice. There's a similarity there to something which I'm unable to actually pick up on. This happens always when I do things. I smell a fragrance and I'm always like, oh, this reminds you of so and so because of two similar notes or something. This seems like it might be like a cardamom kind of. There's no spicy. There's perhaps like an attempt at sandalwood of sort, maybe a creaminess. That of the three so far, that's easily the most pleasing. Yeah, it's quite nice. Like I have no idea what these are meant to retail for. I think Stephen, he's like a reasonable guy, you know. He seems like he wouldn't. I know Jeremy had this whole controversy with his pricing, and I think Stephen may have not gone down that route and kind of been a bit more reasonable. And a lot of these have leaked out because I've literally never sprayed these. Cheers. Okay, I'm gonna try Primus. Sort of smells oceanic. Jeez, hard to use. Okay, I think that's like the Aventus kind of one. There's like, I won't go far as to say it's a pineapple, but you know, it's that kind of smell you've smelled in all the Aventus clones. Nice though. Hey, what up, Vikram? I think I prefer sheep to myself as well, so I'm right with you there on that one, buddy. Yeah, that's okay. Like, I know there's a thing with Aventus where it's meant to be like this super popular thing and everyone's sick of it because everywhere they go they smell Aventus. But yeah, here in Wales, there's nobody wears it, and not even nobody wears it. As far as I know, like I don't really come across people who are scented. It's very rare that I ever walk past somebody and kind of catch a glimpse or a whiff of their fragrance. It's kind of odd. Like I'm not sure if that's commonplace. Like when I was in London, I was walking about, and there's definitely smells there of of fragrances. But yeah, just like over here, just nobody does it. I think maybe on a night out, like people buy it for special occasions, just walking about and going on a day-to-day basis. People don't seem to scent themselves. We are the odd ones out in this regard. That was odd. Excuse the connection. So when the fragrance come, that Aventus, you mean? Yeah, but like I'm guessing they say they must smell it other way on places, because I think it might not be popular because other people wear it. They must be encountering it in the street. Like I know that Aventus is kind of like ubiquitous. Like people will say, "Oh, can I buy that Creed?" Like the word Creed has become like synonymous with Aventus somehow. What are you wearing? Oh, well, I'm wearing Creed. You know. So this oud one is actually decent. And I'll tell you something here now. As somebody who has gone like really deep into the sort of oud rabbit hole, I find that and I've came back to sprays, and I'm obviously wearing synthetic sprays. I don't find it that much of a bad adjustment to actually kind of wear these. People say that once you acclimatize the oud and the natural stuff, then you can't go back to synthetics. But you can. This one is quite bright. I think there's quite a fruitiness, maybe a little bit of sweetness to temper out this oud. The oud is quite like, the oud accord is quite tempered down. There's not much like barnyard there. And speaking of ouds, like generally barnyard is not that common. It's more common in like cheaper ouds, but they tend to be from certain regions as well, so they kind of produce from lower quality wood. And kind of like I said, the majority of oud oils which are of good quality do not smell of this barnyardness. It's like I said, it's crazy the kind of I'll tell you what, I'll just get some oils. Oh, fucking hell. Coming back over here now, like just walking past the air, Jesus Christ. The smell of all these Navitus just, no. Like, I got maybe like 4 or 5 sprays now, all just kind of combined into this thing over here, and it's not very nice. The things I do, like I spray myself 700 times, I spray fucking all this in the air, Jesus man. Right, so I'm trying to do this in a way where it's not going to rattle. So this is one of my boxes of oud oils. So each of these are small little, you can see here that's maybe 0.15 mil. Sorry. And yeah, I'm just like overloaded with these. I've bought way too many. And the thing is, I've owned these for quite a while now, and you just don't seem to make a dent in them. Like, okay, okay, so this is, hey Darren, hey Sammy man. So Darren, this is the guy who sent me the Navitus. I'm not sure if he just came in, but I've just done a quick first impressions of those Navitus fragrances. Overall impressions is just like, eh. Yeah, so these are some oud oils. They come in with little dipsticks. And you generally, I can't recap. God. I'm so sorry for the video quality, by the way. Yeah, it's shit. So like I tend to sort of, I can't really show you. So I run the oil down and then you kind of glisten the applicator with it and just swipe it on. So that's like kind of one application, and the oil level remains unused. I just have so many oils, I've just gone crazy and it's really silly. It's so easy to become like this kind of over obsessed hoarder of sorts when it comes to fragrances. And you see it a lot in the community, you know, people are just, you know, people doing things like, look at my haul, you know, it's not really like a dick measuring competition, but just there's this kind of strange competition amongst people with that's, it's like an unspoken competition, man. It's weird. So I generally like apply it to my skin. You can massage it about a little bit quite gently because you don't want to rub it into your skin. You want it to actually sit there as like a layer. And some oils I'll get a decent 12 hours. Some vary, you know. Different profiles again have different longevity because a Thai oil is generally maybe 6 hours, and then sort of things like a Hindi oud, which is what people commonly know oud as. That kind of like, so Hindi oud, generally people will say it's this kind of barnyard where it has a bit of like a rotten smell, or it depends. Like, you know, this word barnyard, there's been a ton of discussion about what this actually means. Oils last longer. It's hard to say really. I mean, they last a long time. They have a lighter projection because things like alcohol are the thing that diffuses your fragrance. It gives off more of a trail, whereas oud can be a bit quieter. However, I have had an occasion where I walked into work wearing quite a strong oud oil. I didn't realize the strength of this, and halfway through the day, somebody said as soon as I walked into the office, then they can notice this aroma, and they must have been about 6 foot away from me. What do you think about hybrid fragrances? Uh, I don't know. I mean, each to their own. It's a bit difficult to say because, well, I owned one duo fragrance once. One? No, I owned two duo fragrances. I'd never smelled what they were cloning, and to be honest, I wasn't too impressed. However, I was sent about four or five samples of Alexandria fragrances, and they were all fragrance. I basically got to choose them, and they were all fragrances I'd tried before, so I was able to make a direct comparison, and they were pretty damn good. There's a bit of like wrongness in the beginning, but once they start to dry down, yeah, they are close. And you know, if people, I find it's annoying when they're cloning cheap stuff. I understand when they're copying really expensive fragrances, but when they just kind of cloning designer stuff, it doesn't seem to make that much sense to me. And it's fun, yeah, talking about clones, like, you know, I started off YouTube 4 years ago almost, and that was my thing. I started off into fragrances. I didn't want to spend much money. I was researching clones. I bought loads of clones. I was singing and dancing about clones. That's my thing. I wanted to smell good for cheap. And somehow over time, my attitude towards that just kind of changed. I don't know why, but my purchasing started getting more expensive. I remember once I bought 24 gold and I paid £40 for 100 milliliters, and I thought, whoa, I'm crazy to spend this much money. Yeah, I mean, my take on it, you know, I have no snobbery in fragrance. I still wear things like Quorum. It costs £10 for a bottle. I wear a lot of cheap fragrances. I also have a lot of expensive stuff. I'm more inclined to wear things that are vintage. I find if you can buy a cheaper vintage fragrance, that will generally have better quality than a newer one. That's generally, it's not a hard written fact and a rule. It is something I've found, and you can pick up really good fragrances for really cheap. I still have these Milton Lloyd clones of Fahrenheit and Kuros, and these retail for like £4 each. They smell really close, and in the back of my mind, something is telling me, why am I spending this money on like these expensive ones when these do what they need to do? It's it's funny, but yeah. So I try not to have snobbery. Like I do own expensive fragrances, but I don't look down upon cheaper fragrances. People's incomes are going to vary. People's affordability. Even though somebody might earn a lot of money, they may not be willing to spend that much money on things that are silly to them, like fragrances. Yeah, that's cool. I know that. Sorry, I know that kind of cloning vintage fragrances. That's quite cool, but you can also buy them for quite cheap. So I don't know. I mean, I was about to say how much money I spent on a bottle of Kuros then, but I thought, nah. I still have that Fahrenheit FM clone. I don't know how I feel about that review because loads of people have seen that, but my opinion on FM changed drastically. I feel a bit bad that I was saying they're quite good because I eventually sold them off and I just kind of realized that they are shit. And it operates on like a pyramid scheme, or like Avon is kind of like a reseller thing. So I feel a bit bad. And also, hey Dave G, it's good to see you, man. Nice to see some familiar faces tonight. So yeah, it's kind of cool being in front of the camera talking again. It's odd. It's really odd to just do this. You're just talking to yourself, and it's difficult. But yeah, it's quite cool. I'm gonna try and do some more fragrance reviews now. I used to do a lot of first impressions, but I found that I was buying decants and never actually then purchasing bottles. And so I was like, why am I buying decants? Well, I mean, over here in Wales, there's not many places I can go to test like sort of high-end fragrances. So for me to try things, I had no choice but to buy sort of 5 and 10 mils and get in on splits. But I never end up sort of going further with that bottle. So just it's an expensive way to have to sample a lot of things. But yeah, like it's just odd, man. Fragrance is like said with so fragrance is kind of cool. Like, I've done this YouTube stuff. I've I've had sort of interaction with people because of it. Yeah, I haven't actually talked. Me and Lex, we haven't spoken in ages. We were decent friends at one point, but it just kind of fell apart over silly shit. Uh, but yeah, like it's kind of. I'm happy I've done this fragrance stuff. I got into oud, so I post on this like forum where people discuss oud and attars, and there was a meetup organized in Las Vegas. So in sort of sort of late October in 2018, I basically flew over to Las Vegas for 10 days, and over the weekend there we had this like oud convention. Like all of these people who sell oud had kind of gathered. We had a room let out, and people would just basically had tables full of different oils and wood and musk and all this stuff, man. It was awesome. And I basically met up with the guy who founded the forum, and me and him then just spent the week before and the week after then just kind of hanging out and just in Vegas. Like it was cool. There was London last year, so we organised another oud meetup. So me and my mate JK, he's a perfumer who runs the company called Rising Phoenix. I'd met him previously in Vegas, and then we met again in London. We spent about a week together, and he was behind Dodo for Zoologist, and I think he's kind of well, he runs his own shop where he sells oud and his own attars and wood and kind of musk and that kind of thing. So yeah, we spent a week together, which was really interesting because I got to meet a few of his contacts. So we met with a few like ambergris people and people in the attar world. So just like I've had a cool exposure to sort of things that I probably wouldn't have done if I'd never got into fragrances as much as I had. And it's been an interesting journey, you know. I don't dislike fragrances. I'm still wearing fragrances every day. I've just sort of lost the interest in that endless pursuit. At the moment, I'm saving a ton of money. I have plans to basically buy a house, and you know, it's so easy to get lost and spend and spend and spend. Like, and I think I see it a lot in fragrance groups myself. I'm a member of many, and you know, there's the constant selling and buying that I see go on. It's mental, and I remember that I was once like that. So at the moment, I haven't actually bought a fragrance since June, early June or late May, and yeah, it's cool, really cool. I'm so engrossed. I forgot that I was burning some oud. So, yeah. So the oud burner is like this electric control. There's a voltage control which obviously controls how much electric goes through here, and the wood reacts at different heats. So I think with oud, so if I pick up a chip, so basically like a piece of wood effectively has, so unfocused, I'm sorry, there's no clarity to that, is there? So yeah, you got a piece of wood, you can sort of see the size of that, and in here will be sort of resin. So when you apply the heat to it, it's effectively like heating the wood up and bubbling the resin, and that is releasing the aroma. And using different temperatures will obviously cause the resin to basically boil at different temperatures and release sort of different profiles. So, okay, I thought not. Yeah, so this piece is pretty much solid. It's really, oh, it's cracking a little bit, but yeah, it's really hard to break. Some pieces are a bit flimsy. Oh, missed the chat then. I wouldn't make too much. Man, those are some good choices. I had a bottle of Azaro Pohon, well, only a small amount. A friend sent it to me and it's a vintage one. It doesn't actually spray out though, it literally it squirts out. So I've had to decant it, but it's a classic fragrance. And she also sent me a little bit of a Paco Rabanne Pohon as well, which I finished. So like, yeah, oud is crazy. I've also got things like loads of sandalwood, frankincense. It was only the other day I realised how much actual frankincense I have. Oh. So like, there's a bag of myrrh, you know, as you do. Some frankincense, some frankincense. Like honestly, this is pretty weighty stuff, and I don't even burn it. It just sits here. You know, here's some bags of oud. There's quite a weight to that. Yeah, like, I don't know, I find the wood is really interesting. Just like how it looks and just the variation of smells, it's really mental. Do you find that you have a lot of ingredients, you can pick them out? I'll be honest, no. The way I kind of do note association is mainly through association. So if I've smelled one fragrance which has a prominent clove note, and then I smell other fragrances which contain notes of clove, I can kind of draw that line between the two and think, oh, that's what clove smells like. Okay, so that's a really bad example because clove is obviously easy to use. And yeah, I've done things like just buying different spices. You know, I tend to try and train my nose by just holding. You know, I smell cloves and cumin and turmeric. Okay, that's a bad example. I don't know if any fragrance contains turmeric or gin or garlic. You know, I should make like a troll I think I do kind of videos where I take the piss out of people, you know, not people directly, but just like the concept, you know, like I done one video was like that, the top one sexiest fragrance, and I was like, oh, it's fucking kudos. I kind of, you know, try and do this a bit of mocking thing, so I should release my own like troll fragrance in the vein of like Secretions Magnifique, have like salt and pepper and vinegar and just, you know, stupid shit like that. Sorry, yeah, there's a question there. Never tried oud. Yeah, it's a difficult path to tread down. Like, there's just I don't really want to get into it too much, but with oud, it's difficult to sell it from. Think about it from a point of view of like a seller. Like, how do you sell it? All you have really is like descriptions and drawing comparisons and trying to basically like string a narrative, and they can be a bit misleading and, you know, kind of describing these exotic things you may feel. Like, obviously, you know, marketing is all about putting it in perspective of yourself, you know, putting this product to you. How do you look when you drive this car? How do you feel when you jump out of a plane? You know, marketing is kind of taking that approach. So a lot of oud is kind of geared in that way, and what you end up getting may not be kind of how it's been described. It's it's a tricky one, you know. I'm not sure if I would advise people to start going into oud. And again, I'm not saying like it's this addictive thing in that, oh, you buy oud and you're just going to be like, oh, I need to buy more, I need to buy more. It's not in that sense, but I think there's something compulsive about purchasing. I think kind of runs a bit rife in the fragrance community, you know. You know, you can see it when you watch people's videos and they got like a shelf, you know, 4 shelves and they're covered in fragrances and each one is like $150 plus. You know, it's mental. It is mental. And I speak this as a mental person myself because I've spent an inordinate amount of money on this hobby. But I do look at it as a practical thing. The thing about fragrance collecting is it's sitting on your shelf, but ideally it's getting used. Hopefully people's collections don't get so out of hand that they forget they have bottles or things just aren't getting worn. I have 70 or 80, which is a ridiculous number, but it's manageable. But, you know, when people have like 300-400 fragrances, I find, oh, like it's stressful. I found when I was buying things, it was the thrill of the chase. You know, you're kind of there, you're buying, it's like, ooh, that's really cool. And then once the fragrance comes and it's delivered or you collect it from the post office, you kind of take out the packaging. Oh, that's pretty. You spray it on, and then you put it on your shelf, and that's it. That's like end of it. And everything you buy is in kind of like direct competition with its everything else. So the more fragrances you own, it feels like the less now you'll wear your other stuff. I don't know. It's really weird. Like at this point, I have no idea where the slide charts go in. I did. So I had one. This is another like sort of lot of oud oils. So these are all from Rising Phoenix. So like I said, my friend JK, he basically gets oud oils distilled and buys and kind of does a few things himself. So yeah, I got a few bottles here, and so for example, there's a bottle here of frankincense. So this stuff is extremely light. It doesn't seem to last more than an hour on my skin, but I'll tell you what, whew, that experience is amazing. Hey Dan, hey, saying bro. Nice to hear from you, man. No, my room is not smoky. It's just, it's my front camera basically. When I film, I always use my rear-facing camera. So on an uploaded video, I will. It's a better quality that way. But this, you know, it is shit. Frankincense is like so citric. It's unbelievable. Same with sandalwood. People describe sandalwood as creamy, but like really high quality sandalwood has this like lemon sort of tinge to it. It's it's really awesome. The frankincense is really grounding. I've burnt quite a bit. I do have charcoal, so you basically get the charcoal hot, chuck a bit of frankincense on, and that smolders and sort of plunges out the oil, the smoke. It's mental, and yeah, it just it's really nice. I lost my train of thought there. I was going to go, I don't know. I'm just doing random stuff. So this is a sandalwood and a hyrax. I can't say it. Hyraceum or hyrax is that. It's the animal which basically pisses into like the colony of them will be pissing into like this spot, and it all hardens and it forms this like kind of rock, and basically that's used for creating perfume. The craziest fucking things are used for putting perfume. Sorry, Darren, are you going to the London meet? Yeah, I may do. I'll have to take some time off work. Oh, it may be difficult now with this bloody coroner stuff, innit? And yeah, Aidan, all is great here, thank you. The country, like in work, we haven't closed. A lot of people are saying they are now working from home. I think my company's approach is to see what the government say, and until then, it's like business as usual. So yeah. This, guys, is an unbelievable animalic concoction. There's high grade sandalwood. I'm not sure how this stuff gets distilled, but the hyrax, it transforms the sandalwood completely. It's this like it's not pissy. I mean, that's what the substance is, but there's a bit of oomph to it. You know, there's something behind it that gives it a warmth, and it would be a really good sort of base to put on and then apply something else on top or besides it. So yeah, the thing about Rising Phoenix is he does make a lot of really interesting stuff. He doesn't just do oils. He does things like musk and different incenses. It's really cool. I would recommend checking him out. Smell Royal Oud. Is that Royal Oud by Armani? I'm so not used to sort of talking, like I've been on for 45 minutes and my voice, I'm just so dry-mouthed. Oh yeah, Creed, of course, yeah. I tried Royal Oud. It was weird to me. It was like cedar. I couldn't really get much of an oud note in there. It was a very kind of cedar heavy. I found it was lovely. Definitely really good quality. Like the blend was amazing. But yeah, I just didn't really get on with it. Duh. I know, like I said, I'm sort of out to the fragrance game now. It's so hard to keep up with everything. Like it's like having, being in this fragrance thing is like having like a fucking mini library in your head. Like boom, Encre Noir, Natalie Lawson. It's like boom, the amount of facts and just like all this irrelevant shit. You just learn it. I mean, I used to spend so much time on Fragrantica, just constantly reading reviews and doing this, doing that, doing that. Gucci Intense Oud. Yeah, I had a decant of that. It was quite similar to Black Afghano, but it was better because I owned Black Afghano, and that shit gave me a proper headache. I had to sell it. I would spray like 2 sprays on him, just like it would just be this thing in the center of my brain, just like, ugh, and it was not cool. I really can't see them without glasses nowadays. I'm so blind. Yeah. So like, yeah, what's on everyone's radar? I'm just been chatting, but I haven't been really interacting. So, what's people been wearing? Like, what's your favorite things? You got pulled up in work. It's really mental because I wear like 15 sprays of interlude to work, and nobody says anything. I think interlude is one of the only sprays which gets a comment, and it's the cleaner in my office will always go, "It smells like incense in here," and that's it. I wear Kuros. People don't know this. People on YouTube probably don't know this, but I'm a Kuros hoarder. I've owned more bottles. Well, I think I have currently not flankers, just the original Kuros. I have maybe 6 bottles of that, and I did own more. But yeah, I've gone to work wearing like sort of 12 sprays of like really vintage Kuros, which is powerful stuff, like the civet and just the overall like of Kuros. It's just like boom, really there. And nobody says anything. It's either like I'm unapproachable and they can't actually tell me, Jesus Christ, your spray sucks, or just people don't notice it. Shergui. Yeah, I've had a sample of Shergui and I wanted to retry that, but I'm just not bothered to buy more. Do I like Ted Lapidus Pour Homme? Lapidus was one of the fragrances I think I used in my 700 spray special video. I put 100 sprays of Lapidus on, but to be honest, I've never really got on with it. There's something about it, it doesn't sort of do it for me in the right way. There's sort of Fahrenheit and Kuros and Polo and many of these other vintage fragrances. It's just like, I'm not sure, man. Quorum, yes. Yeah, it was Quorum, Lapidus, and Kuros, if I remember. But yeah, man, Quorum, like, I don't know what it is. That fragrance, you look at it, I think it gives you this mental image of how it would smell, or a mental nose, or whatever, of how it will smell based upon the bottle. But it's nothing like that. And Quorum is, honestly, if you can find a vintage bottle of Quorum, and you can do that for like under £50, 50, you can find 100 ml bottle of vintage Quorum for under £20. Bargain of a lifetime. The quality that you get for that, you get for, yeah, that's the latest one. If you try a vintage one, honestly, the difference is unbelievable. Like there's this pungency of oak moss, like the oak moss. Whew, the stuff. I don't know. I keep doing this. I don't know why. Yeah, but vintage Quorum, man, it's the one. It's so smooth. Like the quality. See, even thinking, I'm just thinking about vintage Quorum, and I'm like, hey Josh, what's happening, bro? Yeah, man, I told you I was coming on at 9:30, and like, you fanny about and you don't really come. I have set my guitar, but I don't know if I want to just like play whatever. I don't know. See if the view count just drops at the moment it starts strumming. Picked up 800 ml bottle. Yeah, I think I owned 711 once upon a time, but is yours a spray? Mine was like this kind of, it had this weird neck. It just wouldn't come out. I was trying to sort of splash it on, but like it was so little it was come out. I just sold it in the end. It was rubbish. So what have I done with my... So it looks like I'm playing guitar. Well, didn't expect that one, did you? No, I'm not going to. Fuck it, sorry. Like I said, this is just, I don't know where I'm going with this, man. Any new purchases? No, a house. That's the purchase on my horizon. Where is the lovely Agnes? I think, well, she basically deleted all her videos. There was some, I think, not an argument, but like, what's his name? Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. He like took the piss out of her or something. I don't really understand. All I done is he upset her and she deleted her channel. I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to her in ages. What are you laughing at, Josh? So yeah, Josh is Smelly Vision Productions, by the way. Who, yeah, what happened to you, Josh? You used to do quite a lot of videos, man. You just kind of stopped. I remember you were all like sort of chuffed over Fougere Royale. So yeah, I think like I've been wanting to talk about ouds and stuff for a while because I don't want to just like review an oud. I kind of wanted to give this like a background of sorts into it. I didn't want to just launch into ouds, but I think I'd really struggle to actually review one. And like, I never got around to kind of filming this introduction to ouds, and this is where I've been. So I guess this video has covered it, but being a live stream is a bit difficult because it's very, I think it's been a bit sort of all over the place, to say the truth. Show me your ouds. Josh, mate, you've seen them all. I basically have to take my phone and it's behind my sofa and like it's dark and there's no point. Okay, Josh, here's all the Al Sharif ouds. These are all the samples. So I think there's 3 in each of these. Oh yeah, I forgot that I put an oud oil on. Yes. Oh, and talking. Sorry about all the noise. That's the thing about these bottles and whatever. They all just rattle about. So yeah, Rising Phoenix. They make this thing called Man Musk, which I think is not very well named. But this is like an amazing vintage Chypre. Oh, there's a really strong smell of oak moss in here. It's a really high quality oil, which is very similar to something from the 80s, and this to me is really good. I've never applied an oil this way. It worked. Oh god. Yeah, I guess it's like a higher quality Fougere Royale. It's kind of in that ballparkish. There's like green notes and a bit of, oak moss and sort of just a herbalness to it. Yeah, it's really good. So yeah, I think I'm running out of stuff to say now. I got a feeling I'm kind of going over the same stuff over and over again. I don't know. Ah, fuck it. I was tempted to put my amp on. So if I could recommend a non-Barney oud, I would say to try a Sri Lankan oud because these are quite oceanic. There's like a aquatic saltiness to them. There's no sort of traceability to that barnyard oud. But again, like with oud, it's difficult because so generally like this kind of so the oud accord, which is used in a lot of like spray fragrances, they generally kind of try and go after the smell of an Indian oud, and these are generally considered barnyard, which can be like cow shit, people would say, or the smell like if you're like approaching a farm from a bit of a distance. As you get closer, you're gonna get that kind of manure, the richness of just the soil and the fermentation, and just what's happening organically in the environment. That sort of smell comes to it. There's like different levels of barn. There's some which just smell fucking outright awful. These are generally made from like lower quality oils, and then you get more like sophisticated oils where more hints of leather will come through. The barn is more like a farm doesn't smell bad. There's quite a pleasing aroma. People, it's a common thing to like the smell of manure, which is like composted horse shit. But there's that kind of smell to it, and really good quality Hindi ouds can kind of just give this amazing depth and smell. But yeah, so sorry, I went off a bit there. But yeah, Sri Lankan ouds, and they're just really bright. When I describe ouds, I try and think in color. Like I smell them, and the profile is it's easy to describe with the color. I find Sri Lankans have this like kind of yellowed, greeny color. It's really cool. I don't want to play it. Where would you get a vintage quorum from? I would generally look on eBay. I've actually got a video where I think I showed my vintage quorums previously. So with a vintage bottle, there's generally different markings you can use to kind of discern that it's vintage. Like I think with quorum, it will just say the word Pewig, and it doesn't mention like 100 ml on it. So if you compare the new bottles to older ones, there are noticeable differences, and the packaging is different too. So you can, you know, when you look on eBay, you can see the bottles and just know it's vintage. One sec, I'm going to run off again and get a bit of water. God, fucking rude, isn't he? Halfway through a video and just runs off like. Where, Josh? Yeah, Josh is of the opinion my house is haunted, but he only wishes that was true. Yeah, sorry, I didn't really prepare water. Just like speaking like this is killing me. I generally get home from work and I don't really talk that much. So yeah, speaking for like an hour non-stop it's not a common thing for me. So I mean, like, yeah, what is people's discoveries nowadays? I'm so out of the loop. Like on the UK groups, there's constant hype, you know. Things come and go. There's like Thomas something number 4. Like everyone's fucking jizzing their pants over this, but I don't know if the hype has made it to YouTube. There's just I just see so much hype. There's like Louis Vuitton kind of oud thingamajink, and like honestly, it was like circle jerk to the extreme. I think I tried it when I was in Manchester, and it was just like, it's an oud rose. Loads of ouds. I know, Josh, you've missed the part when I'm talking about the whole acquisition disorder. That's you to the core, bro. Hombre nomad. Hombre. Hombre. I had a plectrum. Oh. Bit of a fucking argument going over here, boys. Nah. I think I tried it briefly. I remember there was nothing to it. Fucked that one up, did I? Yeah, Josh here is kind of going down the path that I went down. Like, you can see, but there, look, he's like, oh no, attars and oils are the way to be. Fuck sprays. That was kind of the approach I took for a while. I just wore only oils, and it was interesting. But I do just like sprays. I find the thing about oils and attars is they're a bit one-dimensional in the profile. So like with an attar, I find that not many will give you as a variety as like sprays. They're all kind of focused around the same core ingredients, so the same vibe kind of runs through a lot of these attars, in my opinion. And like oud, you know, there's a lot of depth in oud, no doubt. But I just find like sprays are more, I don't know, I can just get more from them, more complexity of sorts. It's weird. Yeah, I find nowadays I spend more time wearing oud oils at home. I'm silly, like, I kind of tend to wear them in the night. Like, I'll have a shower and then I put an oud on, and within an hour I've gone to bed. And by the time I've woken up in the morning, I've basically, like, rub the oil off in my bedding, so it's really silly the way that I do it. But yeah. But yeah, I used to be quite sort of scarce with decants. Like I have tons of amouage decants, and I would really like, oh, I won't. There's no point weighing this now at 9 o'clock because I won't wait for the full duration. And like the thing with fragrances, once you've spent the money and you own it, that money is spent. A lot of people like say like, oh, this is my special occasion fragrance. If you take that approach, you will never finish it. Can I play you some Johnny Cash? No, I don't know any. Lame, right? I could play you something a little bit older. Which I was kind of, yeah. Yeah, you know, like once you've bought a fragrance, fucking use it, you know. Yeah. But I'll tell you what though, this just popped in my head. I am interested, right, in sort of like today's fragrances are tomorrow's vintages, right? So like how is Cool Ross of today gonna smell in 20 years? You know, will they have the same like reverence as people have for it now? It's kind of, yeah. Yeah. I won't sing. Boom. Yeah, it's just I don't know, like how do you guys feel about buying? You know, are you at the point where you just kind of can't be asked? Like, am I the only one who's kind of thinking this way? I can't be, right? Oh, thank you guys. You're too kind. You're too kind. It's the only reason I'm playing. I want to be showered in compliments. I never get complimented on my smell, you know. Only my father, or or my mother. Oh, you smell nice, Steve. Yeah, I know. It's a difficult balance. Yeah, I mean, there's a thing, right, about sort of calculating how long it will take you to use your collection. And the thing, and again, like if you're constantly acquiring, you're never gonna be done. I'm not taking the approach of I'm done. I'm not buying fragrances anymore. But like I have finished bottles that I don't have backups of, and yeah, I probably won't rebuy it. I've recently finished like Oud Paleo by Diptyque. Fantastic scent. That's probably my favorite rose oud. But at the moment, I have like three other fragrances which are quite similar. So there's not really much point me buying another bottle because there's just not. Like I own Oud Ispahan. You know, they both kind of do the same thing. There's differences, but there's just no real reason to own the both of them. So perhaps when I'm all out of Oud Rose fragrances, I'll probably buy Oud Paleo again because is that how you say it? Paleo, Power, Paleo? I don't know. Ah, thank you, Gail. Yeah, like just whether you buy stuff again. I have lots of backup bottles, so I'm pretty much set for life for Kuros. Any advice for a new YouTuber? Yeah, just do your own thing. I don't really know what the situation is like, sort of in YouTube nowadays. I'm not sure like what people are doing to get the views. I'll be honest, I was always surprised I've got this many subscribers because I always think my video I'm just bullshitting all this. I make it all up. There's no script. I just kind of say what's on my mind and that's that. A lot of people will try and play it up and I try and feel like they don't really show themselves on camera. They put an image on. So yeah, just be yourself and you know, if cheaper thing, you don't have to follow the progression of niche and trying to sort of keep up with the Joneses, as that saying goes. You know, so just be funny as well. I mean, it's difficult to be funny, especially like without anything to play off. Like you're trying to be funny off your own you're trying to be funny off your own just initiative, and it's difficult to do that. So yeah, I don't know what brings people back to watching reviewers. Is it, do they respect them as a, oh, this person knows what they're talking about? Like when it comes to fragrances, I really don't. I'm not like this expert, so you know, I can't profess myself as such, and I missed that. I find it difficult to get in front of the camera. Oh, mate, just go back and watch some of my older videos. They are horrendous. Like one thing I will say is try and focus on your speaking. A lot of people like just try and think about what you want to say. Oh, Josh. Like I was very nervous my first videos. I was kind of umming and ahhing, bit sort of speaking too quickly. I couldn't get my words out. It was hard to understand me. I'm probably not much better now, but it does come. I found one thing is, yeah, doing YouTube has really improved my speaking. I found that just watching yourself, it was really difficult. It's that really cringe thing, yeah, of filming yourself and going back and watching it. But it's difficult to do, but that's the way to improve. Because if you can't see the flaws in how you are, you just can't correct them. So yeah. Fucking hell, I hope I'm not sounding too preachy here. Like, oh, if you can't see your own bloody flaws, then you can't fucking correct them. Yeah. I don't know where that's my true accent coming out with it. What's my phone battery saying? Thank you. Yeah, it does take practice. Like, if you watch my old videos, you'd be like, yeah, today I'm going to be speaking about Quorum by Antonio Pirig. So this was released in 1982. It's just that kind of unconfident speaking. What is my favorite? Josh, just type one sentence. Jesus Christ. What's your favorite oil? Attar. My favorite oil would be it's one of these by Rising Phoenix. I don't know which one it is. It's potentially this one. It's called, I don't really know. Bija, B-I-J-A. Bija Hainan. So it's a Hong Kong oil from 1999. And this stuff is just, look at it, it doesn't move. It's so thick. Like other oils. Is it moving? Yeah. This. Oh, now it's moving. It's ridiculous. It's as if it's honey. But this stuff, yeah, the consistency is absolutely mental. But it's got this really sweetness to it, and it's really sort of tickles your nose. But this was expensive. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it is sinensis. And attar-wise, it might be Agarwood's Assam's. I can't remember what it's called. Itter Khalifa, something like that, I think it is. Yeah, something about a travelling caravan or something of that sort. I'm not sure. So yeah, it's been pretty cool, this. I don't know if there's people been... Jesus. I don't know if people have been in here from the start. And just not saying anything. Lurking away. Make yourself known. Can I actually see... No. Oh. I say that and one person goes. Right. So I know how to scare people away. Should I just end this? Is it? Gee. That sounds like the blasé approach. Oh, should I just fucking end it, boys? I'm done. Like, Jesus Christ. Can I goon? What? As in like, I've been fucking. As in I've been taking drugs and stuff. Ah, therapeutic fragrance. Hey, mate. Josh, that's our agreement later, man. You don't want to tell people about that. It's a private service, you know. Yeah, I think I should probably call it quits now. Unless anybody has any closing remarks or things to say, or I don't know, man. It's been a bit one-sided. It's good to see that the chat's picked up a little bit now. I know it's not smoke, honestly. See, does that look clearer? Just fucking, I don't know, man. It's that angle. I think it's my light. Is that better? It looks it, doesn't it? All this time. I always thought the camera just like sort of been shit, but so I don't know. Can I play frigging in the rigging? I'll be honest, man. I don't really know what that is. The song rings a bell, but I couldn't tell you by whom. No, Josh. Like, ooh doesn't really smoke, man. That's it. Play something similar to frigging in the rigging. My heater is from Imperial Oud, so there's a fella who works there called Faisal. He's a really nice bloke, and I believe he's an electric engineer, and he created this for me. If you look though, there's a website called Kiara Zen, and this fella has a guide on how to create one of these yourself. And I should have taken it on myself as a little project because I have no sort of electronic skills, sort of, making stuff. It could have been cool. What am I burning? This is from... That's a good question. Oh yeah. So I have quite a lot of like bigger chips, so like 10-gram bags. But I've also got a ton of bags here of just smaller bits. So I'm just trying to work my way through these and just get these smaller bits burned. And there's a Borneo oil from, if you can see it, Agar. I don't know how you say Agar Aromas. So the guy's name is Tony Bolton, and he operates on Facebook. He's a lovely guy. He's about 70, and he's from the UK, and he's gone to live in Thailand, I think it is. Can I play any Clash? No. Thank you, Neil. It was good to have you, man. Ah, yeah, Tony, man. Yeah, he's a nice fella. So I bought quite a lot of oud from him. I think I have a few of his oils here. And his oils are really good. They Vietnam, yeah. Cheers, Josh. His oils are great. He has this one called Frangie. Was it? No, Sandal Frangie Sand. I have to put it out. There you go. Frangipandel. Jesus, that's a mouthful. Frangipandel. So yeah, sandalwood and frangipani blended together. Frangipani, fucking hell. Oh, this stuff is it's out of this world, man. Holy shit. No, Tony's stuff doesn't really get discussed. I'm not sure. I've seen him getting a lot of praise on the Oud forum on Facebook, but on Oudict, not many people talk about him. Although I think that's where I first heard about him. Oh my god. I forgot how good this stuff is. That's oof. Just describing stuff is difficult. It's it's like a sandalwood with flowers in it. Ugh, what a that's, but like I do have a lot of oils, but it does provide for quite a lot of entertainment. I have so many different oils, you can just spend time trying different things and just smelling them from the applicator. Right, yeah, I'm going to end this now, guys. Yeah, it's been fun. I will try and get a video up. I think my next video I'll do a collection update, and then I'll try and start to get some reviews. I was going to bring some bottles down tonight and just show you, but I thought it'd be kind of difficult. It would be contextless, so I think if I do it in a collection video, it makes more sense, perhaps. Oh, Darren, bro, these Navitus, loads of them. I don't know. You sent them to me, and they were full, and they've just been sitting on my mantelpiece of sorts, and they've just like evaporated, man. Oh, jeez. Thank you, man. It sounds like you have a channel with a name like that, but I don't think I've ever seen you. So, thank you, Therapeutic Fragrances. I have to come check you out now. Oh yeah, Dan, so these fucking leaked everywhere, man. I just picked one up and it's... Oh. Well, I wash my hands all the time, this coronavirus nonsense, so I'll get rid of it now. Right, guys, thank you, everyone. It's been good to see you, and until the next video, goodbye. Oh, I know what I'll do. The little outro. Is it a B minor? My hands are so sticky now, I can't even play guitar. Right, this is the outro. Whoa. Peace.